In this video, I'm going to be sharing about how you can price your services as a freelancer, especially because this is a common question that I get both from beginner freelancers, intermediate freelancers, and even those that have been doing this for a while. I've gotten these questions from copywriters, even video editor, so I want to address it in this video. So I prepared a simple pricing guide, and most probably you entered your email address to get this pricing guide. So I'm just going to go ahead and enter my own email address as well so that I'll get access to this pricing guide. Although I have access to it, but for the purpose of this video. So yes, in this guide, the idea is for you to find the right pricing strategy for you. So here we have the hourly rate. So when you're charging based on the hourly rate, you're charging clients based on the time you have spent working with them. So you're charging like maybe $20 per hour, $65 per hour, $40 per hour, depending on what your agreement is. But the disadvantages of using the hourly rate for me is that there are some projects that I prefer to just like maybe give a bulk price, like I say, okay, this is $1,500, so this is $2,000 or something like that. But then the hourly rate is that first the client will require you to track the hourly rate. And now sometimes will you factor the time that you spend thinking about the project or a strategy that you will use without, but you are not actually working, but you probably spent like maybe 1 hour thinking about the project, trying to come up with concept and all of that. And now you are required to track your time. And of course, you're not supposed to inflate your hours and all of that. Then, what if the project takes less time than you thought it was going to take? But then you brought a lot of your expertise into the project. Like there are some projects that maybe it will take me 2 hours to do it. And maybe for that 2 hours, it's probably like maybe a $1,000 project. But then let's say I charge $100 per hour for the project. So it becomes $200 because it took me only 2 hours. But the 2 hours it took me is because I have spent a lot of time developing myself and then growing my skill. That is why it took me only those 2 hours. But it doesn't mean that the project is necessarily easy or it doesn't take time at all. But then the thing is that sometimes hourly rate is also good, especially for projects that take a very long time. So you might give a ballpark rate, and then the projects take longer and longer. They're coming back for revisions, they're coming back for this, they're coming back for that. And at a time, you see that maybe the 500 or the $800 you have charged them doesn't feel so much again. But if you charge an hourly rate, especially high hourly rate, like I don't really recommend like very low hourly rates. I mean, like for someone that has been doing this for a long time, I have been there. So I don't really recommend that. Find a decent hourly rate for what you're doing, except you are completely starting out from scratch. Now, you notice that in those cases, you will get paid even way better. So I remember that there is this company that I'm currently working with. When they reached out to me, I said that I wanted to charge on a project-based basis, but they wanted me to charge on an hourly rate. After like talking and all of that, we ended up going with the hourly rate. And honestly, it's one of the best decisions that I have made because sometimes there is no really like definite time frame for the project, and it's on a case by case basis. And if I charged on a project basis, I would have been the one to lose. So now it is just fair between both parties. So what are the pros of charging an hourly rate? It's simple to track and it's fair if the scope is not really defined. If you don't know how long or what is expected, we'll just see how this goes and all of that kind of project. Then the disadvantages is that it sort of caps your earning potential and it penalizes efficiency. Because if you are very fast, that means you end low. And I have been there, and it's not funny because I'm not someone to lie about how many hours I use and all of that. And because I finish this in 20 minutes, in 30 minutes, it means that I earn less for that. And then the thing about capping your earning potential is that let's say your goal is to make like maybe $30,000 in a year. Just using this for the sake of giving an example, when you divide that by hours, so what will be the hourly? You know that somehow like is about your time to output. So somehow it's not very scalable when you're charging on hourly rates, except your hourly rate is as high as let's say $2,500 per hour. There are consultants that charge that $5,000 per hour, $10,000 per hour. But we all know that many freelancers don't charge that much. So hourly rate is usually nice for short-term projects, maybe for consulting, maybe somebody wants to like talk to you. Sometimes I've had people reach out to me, like I've had someone that was working in the US and needed to like refine her LinkedIn page in a certain way. So at that time I just thought, okay, like this is how much you talk to me in an hour and all of that. So that's like consulting. Then maintenance work. Let's say that maybe you're a website builder and they need you to maintain their website, or maybe to come in and fix their website every time that the website breaks down. You can give an hourly rate, and every time their websites break down, if it takes you maybe 1 hour, 2, 3 hours to fix it, that's okay. That way it is fair for both parties. So that's an example. Then we have the project based. Now, the project based is when you use fixed price for entire project deliverables. So this is my favorite way of charging, seriously. So, and this is useful if as a freelancer you actually create packages for your work. So as a copywriter, I have different packages. If you want me to write copy for a full funnel, so you are getting a sales page copy, you are getting a social number of emails, you are getting a video sales letter, you are getting some social media posts or ads, this is how much you will pay me for it. So that way, apart from the fact that it helps me plan myself, plan my income, plan my scope, I can say, okay, I hope to get clients to pay for 2 to 3 clients every month, and it helps me to project my income, plan everything, and also plan my time. So it's not tied to my time. I already know that in a month I can do this number of projects, and for each project, it's not about how much time I use in doing it, it's about the fact that I do it and I do it well, no matter how short or how long it takes me. So the good thing is that it gives you predictable income, it rewards efficiency, it reduces scope creep because everything is defined. The thing about scope creep is that sometimes someone hires you to write maybe sales page copy, but because it's not defined, it's not project based, before you know it is like, oh, can you also write ads for us? Can you also do this for us? Which is not bad. But in this case, of course, depending on how they frame it and your agreement and how you negotiate, sometimes it's actually not fair for the freelancer. But in this case, we agree that, let's say every month I will write you 30 emails and you pay me this amount of money. Whatever happened, I know this is our agreement. And any month you need it to be more than that number of emails, we renegotiate. Or you need it to be less than that number of emails, we renegotiate. And I helped a video editor to frame his pricing around this as well. And it was great. Okay, so you get so number of videos per month, or you get video edits per month, you get so number of review, that kind of a thing. Then it requires accurate. So the cons, and then no, another thing I was talking about the pros. And then another pro is that it rewards efficiency. And I really loved it. There are projects that it will take me 1 hour, 2 hours to do, but I charge very high for it because I've spent money, I've spent time, I have spent years honing that skill and getting better at it. So whether or not it took me 1 or 2 hours, it will not reduce or cap my income potential for that particular project. So it rewards efficiency, it rewards expertise, it rewards experience. Then the cons, the disadvantages is risk of scope creep. Okay, which I already explained what scope script is about, which it happens if you do not define deliverables. That is when project base can create scope creep. Then two, it requires accurate estimation. I think this actually depends because you can always, like, maybe based on your experience, what you think is a comfortable price for you, you will compare to industry standards, you compare to what is fair to both you and those that you're offering that services to, then you create a price that is like an accurate estimation of the value of your work. So this is best for well-defined projects, websites, design work. In fact, no matter what you do as a freelancer, I think there is a way this will work. I don't know if it will work for those maybe a customer service provider and all of that, because they don't really like actually like deliver a project or anything. But if you have any service where maybe you do graphic design, you deliver, you design a website, you edit videos, you know the number of videos you're editing, you write copy, but then for virtual assistants and all of that, I don't know how well that will work, because we do say, oh, if I respond to 20 emails, all of those. So it really depends. So depending on what your service is, you can tell if this is the best for you. Then retainer. So this one is when you get paid monthly fee for ongoing availability and work. And honestly, this has really helped me a lot because it is very steady. And the good thing about retainer is that maybe it kind of gives you a base fee. Sometimes you know that every month you are going to get this pay, and it's one way to build steady income. If you have multiple retainers, you're never going to experience feast and famine. You can say, okay, so we're doing like maybe a 1 month retainer, a 3 month retainer, a 6 months retainer, and all of that. Then another thing is client loyalty and predictable schedule, but it also has its disadvantages because it may limit your client pool. Let's say you have three retainers a month. Now you have to find a way to like divide your time among them, and you may not now have time to take on more project-based work. Saying this because I have been there, and there is a limit to how much retainers you can take, except you're expanding into an agency. So the good thing is that I have been paid with almost all these forms of payment over my almost about 5 years now of freelancing. Okay, I started 20, I mean, like, I officially started 2021. Yeah, so that's that. Cons, it may limit client pool and it requires boundary setting. I already said that. So this is best for long-term relationship, ongoing support, and maintenance. So there are clients that I work with and they need me to write copy for them, and I say, okay, because maybe we've worked or maybe I know what you expect, pay me this amount per month. So as a video editor, you can say I can edit all your video ads or 50 of your video ads and you pay me $1,000 per month or $20,000 per month, depending on what your agreement is. Another thing is that sometimes the thing we retain and sometimes it overworks you because it's a fixed monthly price. And if you say, oh, we are paying you $1,000 per month to support us with copy, there is no defined scope. You may end up working like maybe multiple hours in that month. Maybe this month you work less hours, the other month you worked more hours because it's just a fixed income. So this, you need to know how to stand your ground and how to manage your time if you are going to be doing multiple retainers that are not based on projects. So what I usually recommend is doing a retainer that is tied to project base. So you're saying $2,000 per month for this. So it's a monthly fee, but we have a defined scope of what you will get in that month. It's not just anything at all. Then we have value based pricing. So this is price based on value delivered to clients. So let's say that maybe you know that you're going to, sometimes people call these like performance pricing or that kind of a thing. So if I write this for you, I expect you to pay me maybe, if you know the work will deliver $1 million, I expect you to pay me $30,000, like that kind of a thing. So you price based on value delivered to clients, which I mean, any work you're pricing because you're giving them value, of course, yes. So highest earning potential and it aligns with client goals. But the thing is that value based pricing sometimes can be harder to calculate, and then it requires deep client understanding and a client that you actually trust. Because from whatever money or whatever you do for them, they have is their gross. They have expenses, they have all those things and maintenance fee and all of that. So this is actually best for strategic work, ROI focused projects, and high impact deliverables. I've noticed that media buyers sort of like use this strategy a lot. So media buyers are those that help clients to run ads and all of that. They tend to use this strategy a whole lot. Now, what are the factors affecting your rate? So I have them here. If you are going through this guide, you can just read through this and then of course the quick tips. And if you want to calculate your income potential while working like at least acceptable hours that will not drive you crazy, you can use this to actually like calculate and see what you're projected to make in a year. So it can help you to set your hourly rate to influence what you will earn in this year. And of course, if you've come to this place, make sure to join this YouTube channel, to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't, but I'm expecting that some of you found this from YouTube. Oh yes, that's that. That is why I created this freelance pricing guide. So what do I recommend? Do a research. Find out what is the market rate, what is the going rate. Don't just check maybe based on your location and all of that. Find out what is the going rate for what you're offering, then check what is best for you and then be flexible. Sometimes I tell people that when you are coming up, it's okay, to be like, okay, I'll try this, then maybe for this client, I'll see which one that has the least resistance for my clients and all of that. So let's test this out. So when I click it, for some reason it's going up, but anyway. Okay, let me use this. Oh, with this arrow, it doesn't go up. Good. So let's say my hourly rate is 40. So this is what I get. So you use this arrow. So yes, so I hope you found this very useful. And if you have any more questions, you can go through most of the videos that I have on the YouTube channel. As long as you're a freelancer, you find them very helpful. Check through, I have like both free resources paid resources, whether you are starting out as a freelancer or you're already a freelancer looking to increase your income, I have something for you. Because by God's grace, I've been doing this and I have gotten like the most amazing results, like really amazing results. And if you have any questions, you can comment on some of my videos, follow me on social media platforms, and I might just make a Q&A video answering your exact question. Let me know if this gave you some clarity on how to price your services as a freelancer.